Hey guys, Ben Wheeler here, the comfiest man in all of science fiction. Just realizing now the light's kind of shit on my thing. I'm just doing a late night sort of thing. I think this might be my first video I actually put up. The other ones are kind of wild and crazy, and I don't really think that they're not what I want. Like, there's a certain amount of shit. There we go. There's a certain amount of wild and crazy I want, because I myself, I don't mean wild and crazy like some sort of SJW donning a fursuit and prancing about in a motherfucking forest. I'm talking about a certain level of off-kilteredness, madness maybe. It's like I'm a firm believer in the power that madness can bring you, but there's a certain level of anti-communication that it can bring if you're not careful. So the reason why I'm sort of doing this video is I'm probably starting everything from here. It's just because I feel that I can start communicating here, that I've got better thoughts going on here. Shoot thoughts. Acquire currency. So this isn't going to really bring me any currency, but that's alright. So, I'm working on a new idea. I'm going to call it Cyber Gothic. Well, first I should say that I'm planning on... my voice is humid out here. What I'm planning on doing is, during my weekends, I'm going to work on something different than whatever I'm working on during the weekdays. Still going to try and hit 60,000 or so words a month on whatever I'm doing for that project. And, still going to do what the things I've been sort of setting up myself to do already. But the goal is to create, I don't know what to say. It's like high and low. I want to create something high-minded of a style that I deeply enjoy, but I never get to taste too much. Like in the Castle of Otranto, Blame. It's a sort of headiness, a sort of deep-rootedness, sort of atmosphere that I don't get. And I want to work on that, both for my own projects and for myself. I don't know how to encourage it in other writers either. It's one of those things where, I can see what the generations of the past did. A lot of writers were communicating with each other and exchanging ideas and, proofreading and all that jazz. And we're doing that now, but it doesn't feel like it's the same. Or maybe I don't know what it's like to begin with, and I just think of it as something. And I might be pursuing an ideal that just doesn't exist. Either way, but there was also a different sort of distribution culture also. And you could have bookshops and find strange books filled with wonder that you just can't do. Right now it's more of word of mouth. And perhaps what I'm looking at just isn't there. But I still want to encourage writers to write in a way that's atmospheric, heady, and might not need as many action scenes. There's a certain... SJWs are shit writers. Just by and large, they don't have what it takes. Compared to their contemporaries or the generations before. And I don't think much of characters like Paul Anderson and others that others praise deeply. But I think that's because he's a part of their childhood, and he's not a part of my childhood. And I don't mean to speak ill of the dead. I've found the Paul Anderson stories I've had is quite enjoyable, but I don't consider him as exciting as other authors I've read, as entertaining. The entertainment that he brings me is more of a thoughtful kind, but the problem is I think all the fucking time. I could stand to do less thinking. Like it's, and I'm not intelligent enough to really take the big leaps that other people seem to. Like I don't really. Oh, I take leaps. Don't get me wrong. Everyone takes a certain amount of leaps, but the leaps I seem to take just hits me in the head with something else, or I'm stuck on some project that I'm not really enjoying as much as I should. But because I'm trying to pursue a writing ideal and have my profession being a writer, I always hate this bit. That it works out. So the thing I'm working on, and I'm sort of planning out in my head, honestly, I spent most of the day playing Prey, and that's useless. I didn't go to church. I just didn't do anything right that I should have been doing. But I'll be going to a new church in 2 weeks. Next week I'm going to Kansas City for a card game tournament, which is my, I enjoy it. I enjoy it very deeply. Seeing people and just getting out of the house for a day, drive to Kansas City and back again. It's like 7 hours on the road, but I actually really enjoy it. But that's neither here nor there. Either way, the current project I'm working on is Cyber Gothic. And that's just the working title, like Seven Siblings. Except, like, Seven Siblings is kind of just going to be ended up called Seven Siblings, even though I can't fucking figure out a better title for it than Seven Siblings. I might just do, like, In the Court of the Elfin King, or My Father Abducted by Elves, or Fairy Follies, or bullshit. Fuck. It's stupid. Point is, like, I think I'll never be satisfied with the Seven Siblings name, but I can't think of anything that just strikes me. Cyber Gothic is the same way. It's basically cyberpunk in Gothic Victorian style literature. It's like what I did for Saraglio, The Sheep of Mars. Right, I dredged up an old. By the way, I will always refer to you as if it is a thing that has happened and that you know of it. I do not feel a need to explain myself in these sort of ways. Where I dredged up how Victorians used to write Arabian literature, and these things were kind of like sexy, racy things. Now, of course, their sexy and racy is essentially what a normal anime character calls a Tuesday. All right, like it's not. And even what I do, like, I think the raciest thing I have is the charnel house of the Sheik of Mars, where they find all his snuff victims. Like, it's one of those things where, I don't really go into it too much. Or I have the Alia. Yeah, like, what she's wearing is pretty risque. But at the same time, it's not that risque. But at the same time, it's still about what they had in there. Not as risque as, say, Deja Forest, who goes around topless. And she, like, lives to 900 plus years. It's like, you know how it is. But, actually, like, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't get the harnesses right in the John Carter movie. Like, if that's something to be disappointed about, like, I'm probably not being disappointed about the right things. Oh, well. That, and she had a little bit more action, but it's like, yeah, she was like legit the princess of the college. I don't get why people are surprised at that part. It's a sword fighter. Nah. And then, like, they forget about it. She has one action scene I can remember, and then the rest of it's just her getting saved. Like, okay, you just stuck that in there. And honestly, I view John Carter as an American creation. And it was written by a profoundly American writer, blah, blah, America, rah, rah, rah. But I'm talking about something deeper, though. Like, the spirit of John Carter is American. John C. Wright books, the spirit is always American. Even if he sets things like in the Iron Chamber of Memory in Europe with a fairly Europeanized main character, and Hal, I still fundamentally viewed Hal as an American. He spoke in an American voice. And I'm sure that John C. Reilly is smart enough to know this and whatnot, that nothing, I'd be deeply surprised if my statement, if this ever comes back to him, that this surprises him. But I want to hit the marks of a Gothic novel, and I want to set it in a far-flung future. I want something like John C. Wright's Golden Age or Tsutomu Nihei's Blame, in that all the world seems to be of something, or to be made into something. I want there to be... how to say this? There's a certain atmosphere, and I've been saying this before, that's overwhelming, dripping, dreary, fateful, I guess, pregnant with the potential movement of fate. Now, what the heck that means, But there's, I'm going to be rereading The Castle of Otranto to prepare for this novel. And there's something in The Castle of Otranto that is of itself. It seems like, from the beginning, that everyone but, 1-2 characters, but certainly the villain, is doomed. And even the priest character who shows up sort of has the threat of death over him too. Not the threat of the loss of his salvation. I don't mean that death. I mean the worldly death. Come on, guys. Don't need this much wine. By the way, I'm going to do these videos in the car. I get real angry about bad drivers. It's not quite road rage, but it's its close cousin. I get real close to road rage sometimes. I don't pursue anyone or anything like that, but I usually give them the finger or something. But, I want that feeling when you walk through an old building and you're always looking for something over your shoulder, and you feel that something important could happen, or that something important did happen. And because something important did happen, you feel it is important that you're there. And because you're there, you can do something, or you can experience something that you couldn't experience anywhere else. You know what I mean? It's the experience not of dread, though you can feel it, or of panic or failure or fear or anything like that, but it's just a certain pregnancy. Yeah, I guess that's about what it should be. I can't really describe it any other way. It's it's Gothic. It's the reason why Gothic as a genre in itself exists. I want to communicate that in science fiction. And I know that there's some stuff about that that's already around there. Hyperion, Warhammer 40k, but that's not quite it either. The problem with Hyperion is that people can still move about as they want, and that there isn't really that same sense of dread. There's dread towards Hyperion, but there's not dread outside Hyperion. And I know that I'm saying it fucking wrong, but you should, if you've read the novel, you know what I'm talking about. The communication I'm trying to envelop is still there. It's more of... I want there to people to be absorbed into it the same way people are absorbed into the Castle of Otranto and other stories. I want the same feelings. Warhammer 40k is like it, but the problem is that it has too much violence, too much action, and too much despair for it to be true Gothic, I think. Because the thing is about the despair, I think, and this is just from what I've read of a few, I haven't really been a big Gothic reader, because too many vampires, like, come on. Like, fuck, vampires, bullshit, I don't need vampires in my life. My face with no Gothic big titty GF. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Hopefully I'll be able to communicate what I want better later. Just so that I can do it right. Because if I want to revive old things and bring them to their proper glory, and if I want to stand at the top, I have to be able to do it right. I can fail at it as many times as I want. But at least for some readers, I have to hit it. And honestly, Gothic horror, like, I don't like the mix of Gothic and horror as itself, because it always feels like vampires. And it's vampires all the fucking way down to the turtles. And then it's turtle vampires. Like, come on, guys. Enough with the vampires. Ben Wheeler, the comfiest man in science fiction. I'll talk to you guys some other day.